Okay, so I saw something in the news this week about Liam Neeson, the actor, and it was very interesting to me, and I kind of have an opinion of it. Um, he made an announcement that he's considering becoming Muslim, and it had to do with a time where he had been in Istanbul, and it started out when he was hearing the call to prayer every day, and it was really getting on his nerves. And then over time, the beauty of the sound of it, really began to intrigue him and pull him towards it. And there's other things it says in the article. I might actually just link the article. But I was thinking about in terms of while he was in Istanbul, what that might have been like for him, and coinciding it with the notion that that also might change his faith. Now, he was born and raised Catholic, um, and I don't know if you remember this, but recently his wife passed away a pretty tragic way. So I kind of think of the time frame of which he's going through his mourning, especially for a spouse. I can't imagine that even the longer people might think, oh, well, it's not within a year. Well, but for a spouse, I think that the grief of that is pretty monumental, and I sort of think of maybe some of the things that he's doing now are manifestations of what his grief is being worked out through. I also really suspect that part of it has to do with the beauty of the culture of what he saw in Turkey. And I'm not just talking about, the exotic color differences and you get to see all kinds of wonderful people and food and, I mean, yeah, you can be overwhelmed by the, you know, pageantry and outside effects of things that are different than, your own culture, because he's from, I don't remember if he's English or Irish or something. Anyways, yeah, that can be very exciting to look and then to become enamored with and excited by. But that's not going to last. I think that there might have been something within the ways that people interacted culturally with each other that provided a sense of comfort enough to him to believe that it was an expression of their Islamic faith. I'm not convinced that he, well, I mean, obviously, I don't know what's in his mind and heart and what he's drawn to or why, but I remember at different times in my life that, say, if I made a friend with someone and they happened to be interested in a particular subject, that I would sometimes, try it on for size, whatever, like go play tennis with them, even though I hate tennis or whatever. But it wasn't that I liked tennis or that I liked tennis for them. What I liked was the exuberance and the passion and the interest that that person had in tennis. And it was actually that sense that I was trying to acquire for myself more than a love of tennis or an interest in tennis. So I wonder if that is something that might have happened to him, what he saw in the culture. Those things might have been things he had longed for and missed. Um, just sort of holes in society that are filled in different ways from another perspective that might have comforted him in a really deep sense. And of course, I always wonder when someone's going through a change of their faith, um, in what ways are they being supported and by whom? Because the ability to clearly discern information that's coming from the, the group that is what you're considering, as well as other people's criticisms of it, is pretty important to be able to have a balanced notion of what's really going on. And because that's so crucial, and I'm not sure who he would be talking with to make sure that he's getting, all directions of information. But I also think that, I mean, I keep hearing about really high numbers in Great Britain because of, of conversions or reversions, I guess is what they call it. But for Islam, because of, who is living there now is in such a higher population that just by proximities, just by living in proximity with someone or making friends with someone, you know, of a different faith, you're going to be more apt to or interested in one that is different than what you were raised in. And there are certain things about what I think might have been familiar and comfortable to him being raised as Catholic that might feel oddly similar, or a ghost of a function of a comfort that would feel familiar to him. And so I really wonder about that. And of course, I wish I could get to talk with him like that would be anything. But I wondered if anybody else had any sort of ideas about that, or if you know, you've ever watched people go through changes of faith, and what you might have thought were some of the aspects that played into that as far as the elements of support, and how sometimes if you are not supported in that movement, that it actually drives you closer to it because it feels as if people are against you and stuff like that. So if you've ever, you know, witnessed that phenomenon, or you have an idea about it, I'd really like to hear back about that. And yeah, please leave in the comments or a video response. I appreciate it. And for blessings of peace. Thank you.